In episode T-4 of these pre-launch episodes, you heard how Reigate was. In episode T-3, about the histories of Red Hill, Brockham, Betchworth and Buckland. In episode T-2, we looked at the area now and why, with almost everything you could want all in one place and a terrific community spirit and vibrancy, it's probably the best bit of Britain. Before we launch with episode 1 next week, our pre-launch series continues with episode T-1. Hello, I'm Peter Stewart and the presenter and producer of the Planet Reigate Podcast, and I'd love to tell you a little bit more about me and the show and its features and how you can get involved.
This is the Planet Reigate Podcast with Peter Stewart.
So, I was born and raised in Epsom. The first home of my own was in Red Hill, Brook Road it was, and I now live between Reigate and Epsom. And the voice you just heard then, incidentally, is Judith. She's a professional voiceover artist, and you'll be hearing a lot from her over the months and years of the Planet Reigate podcast because she's recorded all the announcements. Now, if you're of a certain age, you may remember the radio station for the area called Radio Mercury. Yeah, it was out of Crawley and covered this part of East Surrey as well, and that is where I first met Judith, who was a news presenter.
Radio Mercury News, it's 5 minutes past 5.
And so was I.
Tory councillor who's resigning after 35 years will tell you why, and also why local police are changing their name and uniform. Those stories and other stories making news tonight, plus city, travel, sport and weather, together in the update.
Peter Stewart, The South Tonight.
It's funny hearing myself back. I've got a lighter, higher voice, haven't I? And as well as Radio Mercury, I've been on County Sound Radio across Surrey, Sussex and Hampshire, as well as being on Premier Radio. That's the radio station that was later called Eagle Radio and came from Guildford. I've been on Delta Radio in Hazelmere, Southern FM out of Brighton, Thames Radio from Kingston, and KFM in West Kent. And for several years, I was the news editor at the commercial radio station for Essex. And also, I was a club DJ and also a radio DJ there as well.
Hello, good evening. This is Peter Stewart back at Essex FM. We have your 70s and 80s flare-flap and floor fillers from the best years of your life.
It's the Sunday Night Car Wash. With Peter Stewart as we dance through the decades. Essex FM.
This is Peter Stewart on today's Better Music Mix, hotter and fresher, ESS.
Yeah, Essex FM. I sound a bit different there as well, don't I? I've also been heard on radio stations including Radio 2, Radio 4, Talk Sport, Virgin, Kiss, as well as other radio stations across the country as well. And I currently work for BBC Radio in Surrey, where I've also crisscrossed the county to report for the BBC on TV, online and social media. So that's a little bit about me. And I hope over the forthcoming months and years, I'll get to know you a little bit as well. Now, as you'd expect from someone with around about 30 years experience in radio presentation and production, the Planet Reigate podcast is going to be a short, pacey programme for a family audience, and I've spent several months honing the format, devising features and competitions, commissioning a theme tune and jingle package, and having Judith as the professional voiceover artist recording the announcements. Now, most of the guests are going to be recorded on location, so this is definitely not going to be two people talking on a dodgy Zoom link for an hour. Yeah? You've heard those kinds of podcasts, and this is not going to be one of them.
This is the Planet Reigate Podcast. Great stories from places you love and people you know.
Yeah, there's Judith again. It's okay. I'm not going to give her credit every single time. Well, as its name suggests, the Planet Reigate podcast is for you. If Reigate and the towns and villages in its orbit are the centre of your universe, from the hills, the heaths and the high streets, from Redhill to Buckland, Brockham and Betchworth. Yeah, the Planet Reigate podcast will be a weekly magazine-type podcast of around 30 minutes with, as we say, great stories about places you love from people you know. Reigate's distinctiveness and pride will ooze from the speaker. A series of short, pacey conversations with people who live and work in the town and the surrounding area, telling us what they do and why they love it here. It's going to focus on all that's good about Reigate and the towns and villages in its orbit, what's going on, things to do and people to meet, local schools and sports, events, talks, country walks, good news stories, successes and local heroes. Our signature Thanks a Million campaign, supporting local independent shops and businesses, plus competitions and fun features. And you'll be hearing a little bit more about some of those features in the next few minutes. So you may hear from someone who runs a local cafe, a local business owner, the leader of a gym session, maybe someone with an unusual hobby or job, an intriguing life story. We'll publicise all that's good about the town and what people can get involved in and champion local independent shops and traders. Charity appeals, what's on events are going to get a mention, so too some local jobs, and there'll be a weekly fun competition as well. So, let's talk you through some of those features. Now, not all of these features are going to be on every single week, but they're going to be ones we can choose from, week by week. It's like a pick and mix in Woolworths. Oh, sorry, it's Reigate. It's like the menu of coffees and cakes at Beryl and Peg's.
Thanks a Million, the Planet Reigate podcast, helping boost local businesses.
Yeah, let's first of all tell you about one of our signature features, Thanks a Million. It's our Shop Local campaign to champion local businesses. Now, 1 in 10 shops in the southeast are empty. That's according to the British Retail Consortium in 2023. And if every adult in Reigate alone spent an extra £1 a week locally, it would boost the town's economy by £1 million a year. So, in every show, we're going to highlight a local business to give it a free boost. So, if you run one or have a favourite one, tell us about it and we can pop along and interview them and hear all about how they set up, what they sell, what their service is, what their business is, and how they integrate with the local community. In other words, what they have got to offer that other people may want. Hello at theplanetreigatepodcast.com.
The Good Time Guide. Things to do and places to go on the Planet Reigate podcast.
Yeah, whether it's a huge event like Pub in the Park or Surrey Pride or Run Reigate or a smaller fete, exhibition, concert or art show, let us know. You can fill out the form on our website, theplanetreigatepodcast.com, with as much notice as possible, please, so we can help swell your crowds. And we'd love to have you on the show to talk about what's going on as well. We may even come along and do a recording too. And in return, of course, we'd love you to promote the Planet Reigate podcast as media partners on your publicity, and tell all your followers and members where to hear the episode that you're on, and of course all the other episodes as well.
Welcome to Reigate Roulette on the Planet Reigate Podcast. My name is Roberta. I am the Reigate Roulette Robot. I want to find out more about what you love about living here. Spin the wheel to play and I'll ask you a question.
So another feature I want to tell you about is the Planet Reigate Podcast's unique question and answer feature. It's hosted, as you've just heard, by Roberta, the Planet Reigate Robot. Spin the wheel, get a question about what you love about living here. So you could be asked about your favourite view or cafe, the best local walk, a top place for the kids, or what it is that makes the Planet Reigate area such a great place to live. What brought you here maybe, or something else surprising. It's the series that's sure to get local people comparing notes. If you want to take part, hello at theplanetreigatepodcast.com.
Priory Bark. Canine Conversations on the Planet Reigate podcast.
The Surrey Hills, such a great place for dogs as well as us humans. You can join the Planet Reigate podcast as, with Loopy the dog, we talk with other owners about their four-legged friends and find out about their name, age, breeds, their favourite foods, funny ways, how good they are. Recorded, as the name would suggest, in Reigate's Priory Park. Would love to meet up with you and your pooch to get to know if they're a pampered Pomeranian, a tearaway terrier, or a docile Dalmatian. So if you want to show off your schnauzer or any other breed, contact us again, hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com, and we'll sort out a time to meet up with you and your pooch in the park pretty soon.
Crack the Code, our weekly game for Surrey spies.
And this feature will be on every single week. Yeah, you can take part in our weekly competition. Our spies need your help to crack the weekly code they've been set. Are you up for the mission? So each week on the Planet Reigate podcast, we'll tell you the location of a secret number somewhere in the Planet Reigate area. So it could be on a shop front, a bus stop, or maybe a clock, or maybe it's on something really unusual. Help our spies by finding the code, writing it down, and sending it in. hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com, and you'll get a mention on the show. Now, the prize is just a mention on the podcast at the moment, but maybe you're a local business that wants to sponsor this feature. You can get in touch. But all locations are publicly accessible, although care and supervision may be required if you want to take part in our Crack the Code competition.
The 60-second soundscape. Local natural sounds, uninterrupted.
Each episode of the Planet Reigate podcast will end with a soundscape, a recording, perhaps of the natural wildlife locally, maybe from the heath, the hill, the park, or one of our local lakes, streams or woods, maybe skateboarders in Priory Park or Sunday church bells. Sit back and relax and have a minute of mindfulness as you picture the scene from the Surrey Hills. This truly is the best bit of Britain, and even if you've moved away from the area, you can always stay connected with the place you once called home. Our 60-second soundscape.
The view from the hill. The changes you'd make if you were mayor for the day.
So maybe you've got something about the area you want to get off your chest. You can get in touch with the Planet Reigate podcast and we'll join you on Reigate Hill as you tell us about your little niggle about where we live and what you'd do about it. Literally, your view from the hill. hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com. Oh, and by the way, nothing too serious. We don't do party politics, so if you want more hanging baskets, drop us a line. But if you want to hang litter droppers, you probably need another forum. But get in touch. hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com.
Planet Reigate stars. Thanking local heroes who are out of this world.
Yeah, our celebration of the area's local heroes, whether it's someone who found your phone, the top-class teacher who's really helped your child at school, maybe the passerby who started your car when it conked out on the hill, a volunteer, a neighbour, or a paid-for professional. You don't even have to know their name. It could be a shout-out to a stranger. It could be someone that found your wallet or your keys. How many sets of keys and credit cards get lost in Priory Park? Yeah, it could be a nurse, a shopkeeper, or a council road sweeper. Just let us know what happened and who you want to thank, and we'll get you on the show so you can tell the rest of the planet. And send your Planet Reigate star a virtual handshake or maybe a virtual hug. hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com.
Hidden treasure on the Planet Reigate podcast.
Now we're going to have regular reports from Reigate's main charity shops to uncover the bargains yet to hit the shelves. Yeah, the Planet Reigate podcast has got special permission to get a sneak peek at the donated books, clothes, games and tech that are just that little bit special Be first to hear each week's show so you can be first in the queue to bag a bargain and give a new home to something special. Now, we're not talking about bric-a-brac and tat. No, these are the hidden gems, the rare editions, the designer labels, the collector's items. You know what we mean? Okay, make sure that you listen to each episode so you can find some hidden treasure.
The School Call.
Do you study or work at a local school or college? Then let us know what's happening there so we can share it with everybody else. Could be a fair, a school production, outstanding successes in exams or sports, a pupil who's done something amazing, maybe in their own time, a school trip, special project, fundraising, new science labs. And we'll also do birthday shout-outs as well. So either add us to your newsletter or press release distribution list, or let us know via, you're getting to know it now, aren't you? hello@theplanetreigate.podcast.com. And then we may give you a mention on our school call feature, or even get you on for an interview. All we ask, if you're a school, that you promote the Planet Reigate podcast in your next parent's newsletter and on your website with links to the show so everyone can hear the episode that your school is featured on. Okay, so all that is what we are going to do. What are we not going to do? We're rarely going to cross either the M25 or the M23. We don't do Dorking. We don't cover Crawley or Banstead or Guildford. We're only going to mention Gatwick for major jobs or noise issues. We've never heard of Sussex or Kent. Our orbit is specifically RH1, 2 and 3 postcode areas. Now, the Planet Reigate podcast is not going to be a news show, so we're not going to be talking about council tax rises or he said, she said party politics. We wouldn't cover council tax per se, but we would maybe cover calls for more bins or benches or hanging baskets. We may talk to councillors or MPs, we've got several across RH1, 2 and 3, but only about their love of life round here and what may improve it in a positive and proactive way. We're not going to be broadcasting personal criticism or point scoring. We will mention topical issues, maybe a new shop on the high street, the Pride Festival in the park, or the potential move of a certain school. Oh no. We've upset the hornet's nest there, haven't we? The Planet Reigate podcast currently has the support of the Reigate Business Guild, local Facebook forums We Love Red Hill, We Love Earlswood, Earlswood Lakes, Red Hill Wetlands, Reigate and Red Hill Wildlife, Woodhatch Spotted and Brockham Village, various local groups, business and charities, the Tadworth-based Children's Trust charity. Confirmed for the first episode, David Kelly, the organiser of the forthcoming Run Reigate event, from which we will report. And we're also in conversation with Surrey County Council regarding regular features on events at the local libraries, and with Reigate and Banstead about interviews on events at the Harlequin. So, how can you get involved? Well, first of all, you can be a guest. Do you run a group or business? Are you involved at a local church or school? Send me your details so we can catch up and we can do an interview with you and get some more members for your group or sell more tickets for your event. Maybe you've got an interesting story to tell. You want to play Reigate Roulette or want to tell listeners your thoughts on where you live in our View from the Hill feature. Oh, and don't forget Priory Bark as well. Get in touch. hello@theplanetreigatepodcast.com. You could also be a reporter. Yeah, there's going to be an opportunity for you to get involved in another way because similar podcasts for other towns around the country have included volunteer reporters sending in their audio diaries or of keeping horses or chickens or a country ramble or memories of growing up in the area. Could you contribute a short weekly item on local history? Are you the leader of a local book club who could record a review of a new release or a bird watcher? You may want to volunteer to be a wildlife reporter. We can train you in how to use your phone to record good quality audio and how to edit and submit it, or I can come to you. Or you could be an advertiser. We're keen to support and promote local businesses, especially the independent ones, but the show is not going to be a plug fest, but there will be limited opportunities for advertising and sponsorship. So that could be a short, professionally made radio type advert for your company or group, or you may want to support an existing or a new feature. For example, an estate agent may help create and sponsor a short feature highlighting the local market, or decorating tips, or schools news, all of which might fit with their target demographic of people moving to the area. A garden centre could be associated with a short What to Do in the Garden This Week feature, together with a mention of any sales offers. We could work with the school to produce content promoting results, facilities and activities. Wouldn't that be a really new way to attract attention of parents of the next intake? Get in touch and we can brainstorm together about how you can get involved. Maybe you're an individual or maybe you're a local business.
Email hello@theplanetreigate.podcast.com. Find out more at theplanetreigatepodcast.com. Leave a text or voice message on WhatsApp 07917 874 572. 07917 874 572. Follow us on Facebook, The Planet Reigate Podcast. Find us, subscribe and leave a review on your favourite podcast app.
Now, you'll know, because you're listening to this now, the Planet Reigate podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts, as they say. On Apple and Google devices, Spotify and YouTube. You'll also be able to ask for it on smart speakers and to listen via our website. And clips are going to be produced for social media as well. So, how does all that sound? Hopefully, it sounds great, and you're going to be one of our most avid listeners. You're going to join us from next week. You're going to tell your friends and your family to listen as well. You're going to get involved and send us details. You'll be itching to be interviewed as well and really help make the Planet Reigate podcast something for the local community. It'll be nothing without you, but I know that you're going to give it all the support you possibly can because this truly is the best bit of Britain. Stand by. We're just days away from the very first episode of the Planet Reigate podcast. The area has heard nothing like it before. It's a distinct and tailor-made podcast just for you in RH1, 2 and 3. Join us, won't you, for the start of something really special.
This is the Planet Reigate Podcast with Peter Stewart.